billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Qul a'udhu birabbil falaq min sharri ma khalaq wa min sharri ghasikin idha waqab wa min sharri naffasati fil 'uqad wa min sharri hasidin idha hasad. Sadaqallahul aliyyul azim. Lecture number 22 for the second year class, and I will tell you that the main structure which you will study here, that is the muscles. You will study the actin and the myosin protein. These proteins you was discussing since 9th class. These two proteins are so important because these two proteins will contract, they will attach, they will form the cross bridge. Actin and myosin, two proteins. This will be a key points of this chapter is these two proteins I am naming, actin and myosin 2 protein. These proteins are originally handling our body 80% because these are the proteins which are present in the muscles, and they will attach with each other. The cross bridge will be formed. I will teach you in much detail by using all calcium ions. For example, a lot of doctors are telling you calcium is very necessary for the body. I will tell you how the calcium is necessary. You will know about calcium gates, because sodium gates, you are in second year, you are lucky. I am telling you, you are in second year, you are lucky, because you are going to understand those phenomena. Normally the doctors study those phenomena, and I am very happy now syllabus is updated, and we are since 3-4 years we are upgrading the students, and we are giving that knowledge which is currently valid in the professional field. So if you, doctors are also studying this phenomena, your action membrane potential of neuron, how the nerve impulse is transported, which is written in this book, in which calcium gates, potassium gates, sodium pump, potassium pumps are involved. Here in this chapter you will study the structure of the muscle, in which calcium gates are involved, in which endoplasmic reticulum is modified, in which the cell membrane is modified of the muscle, which is called sarcolemma. And that is very interesting, that I am giving outline why this chapter is important. So I will go this topic of the muscles later on in the last, because that is a significant topic of this chapter, and that is going to almost change your attitude about, change your thinking about your body. You will think a lot after that, that nature gave you reward of those two proteins, cross bridge, sarcolemma, endoplasmic reticulum, Nissel's granule, and how this action membrane potential and the resting membrane potential is being created in the body. Okay, we will go back to the bone. Bone, I told you. What is the bone? What is the bone? Bone is the part of the skeletal system. Your body is protected by the bones, and bones consist of many parts. Bones consist of many parts, but I will start from easier terms, and then I will go to the complex terms. So easier terms, I told you in the last lecture as well. I will continue my discussion. I will tell you that your bone consists of, yes, of course, I will tell you, you are talking about the bone fracture. Yes, of course, I will also tell you, because a lot of time your bone normally fractured, and you go to hospital and you do some time open surgery, you do some time closed surgery, hematoma is formed. I will discuss in this lecture also, when bone is fractured, how you will repair the fracture. So bone has the two parts, dear students. I am going to tell you once again, because you know I will start from this one. Outer part is the compact bone, and inner part is the spongy bone. Spongy bone, why I am naming spongy bone? You will be talking about, sir, compact bone is important and spongy bone is important. Spongy bone is important, or the compact bone is important. Very tough competition between these two type of the bones. Very tough competition between these two type of the bones. You know, compact bone, spongy bone, these both bones are so important. These both bones are so important. If you will understand these two bones, if I am going to tell you advantage of compact bone, yani I am going to tell you advantage of this bone, advantage of this bone, spongy bone. So very difficult decision that you will prefer any type of the bone. Reason I tell you, because compact bone is protecting you. Compact bone, the outer part of the bone, is protecting your all parts of the body. It also involved in the locomotion, movement with the muscles. Yes, of course. What is the name of the muscles which are attached with the bones? What is the name of the muscles which cause the locomotion? They attach with the bones. Skeletal. Very good. What is the outer part of the bone? Compact bone. Good. What is the inner part of the bone? Spongy bone. What is the area of the bone in which the metabolic chemical reactions takes place? Spongy bone. Name two type of the metabolic reaction: anabolism, catabolism. What is anabolism? When small molecules combine to form the large molecules, that is anabolism. What is catabolism? When large molecule break into small molecule, that is a catabolism. Why there is a need of the metabolism in the spongy bone? To maintain different type of chemicals. Name two protein in the muscles: actin and myosin. You will study in much detail. I am going to tell you, spongy bone consists of, now I want your attention. If you are alert, I will speak this sentence, otherwise I will remain silent for some time. Are you off your clip? And then on the clip from same place where you stop the recording, and when you are alert on that clip only in that time, because I am going to tell you a precious point of the bone, students, much precious point. This is the word, these are the words you are listening from the media, you from all where. Why you are not listening from here? Listen here, because you will know the importance of the bone by knowing this term. The bone marrows which cause the cancer. If bone marrows are not properly working, we are no more in the life. We are dead things if the bone marrows are not working, because bone marrows will form the red blood cell and the white blood cells. Now you are getting the importance of spongy bone. Spongy bone consists of inner part. This spongy bone consists of red bone marrow, white bone marrow. Red bone marrow mean they are able to form the red blood cells. White bone marrow means they are going to form the white blood cells. So red blood cells, the white blood cells, they are being formed by the bone marrows. So students, I am going to tell you the bone marrows, where the bone marrows are situated. The bone marrows are situated in the spongy part of the bone, which is the inner part of the bone, in which different type of the chemical reaction take place. Three type of the cells I will tell you. One type of cells which is present in the bones, I will speak little slow because these cells are very important. Osteocyte. Spelling I am writing, you will see osteocyte. Which cells are present in the bone cells? Osteocyte. These are the matured bone cells. Why I am using the word matured? Because there will be some bone cells which will not be matured. There will be some cells which are just forming after fracture or during initial development of the bones they are forming. They will not be osteocytes. Only cells which are matured and they are forming a genuine bone, and that is able to perform specific function, mean they can support, those cells are called osteocyte. I will name two other cells of the bones as well. We go back, define the skeletal system. The bone and the cartilage, collectively called as a skeletal system. What is the hard skeleton? Bone. What is the soft skeleton? Cartilage. Where is the cartilage situated? In the ear, in the trachea, in the nose, the shaft for the movement, even in the intervertebral disc. Of course, you will study intervertebral discs also in this chapter, with 33 vertebrae I will explain. Go back to three part of your forelimb. This is your forelimb. And you are watching your forelimb part. And forelimb part is important in the sense because forelimb also consists of spongy and compact bone. It also consists of red bone marrows, white bone marrows. We go back to epiphysis. This area in which your elbow joint is present, that is epiphysis. Elbow joint. This is a elbow joint. This is a hinge joint. Elbow joint is a hinge joint because it can move in only two directions, like hinge of the door. Can you move the door in four directions? No, only two directions, at your side and away from your side. The door will move at your side or away from your side. Hinge joint I will also explain. Two type of the joints I have to explain. One joint I am telling you roughly, and that joint which I am talking about, the ball and socket joint. What is the ball and socket joint? The ball and socket joint in which you can move in three directions. It will move like this one. You can ball. If you are a baller, you will use your pectoral girdle, mean that your pectoral joints, mean your ball and socket joints, and you will be able to move. It means shoulder joint is the ball and socket joint. Shoulder joint is the ball and socket joint. Why? How you can use your ball and socket joint to do a ball? You will run and you will use the shoulder and you will move the shoulder like in this direction. I will show how you can move the shoulder in this direction, in four directions. Like in four directions almost you will move. You will rotate just like a circle and you will do a ball. If you will not rotate your completely, the illegal ball will be declared by the umpire. Normally you say stone ball, of course. So therefore, when you have a hinge joint, only up down movement, up down, up down, up down, this is the hinge joint. And what is the ball and socket joint? You are moving in the four directions. You are moving in a circular direction. Yes, of course, because you can as a cricket bowler, that is a very good example, because when you will start running and you will rotate your shoulder in a circular format, it means that is a ball and socket joint. Why? Because you can see there is a circular lever, and I will teach you this in much detail in the coming chapter in topics, in which I will speak these two joints, and these are the ball and socket joints. Your legs also have the ball and socket joints. Your knee joint is also hinge joint. So these joints are important for the motion. So I am telling you the parts of the bone. This is the bone which is present in your forelimb, and basically I am going to tell you what is the name of this bone. What is the name? I can tell you, but you will just recall my words which I spoke in skeletal system of the human body in the 10th class, when I was telling you name of the bone so many times. I was moving in the classroom. There was a scoring session going on. I was asking the name of the bones of the human body, name of the bones of the forelimb. Did you know the name of the bone of this? I am listening. Hypothetically. I am just feeling that you are telling and you are speaking to me, and I know you know. That's why I am asking this question to you. Okay, so this is the femur. Femur? I see you are right or wrong. I will disclose the answer later on. You think this is a femur? You are listening. Is this femur? Femur, no. Femur, then radius ulna. Femur, radius ulna. Is that femur? Because this is the upper bone. And what is the bone of the hind limbs? What is the bones of the hind limb? Tibia, fibula. Tibia, fibula. Is that femur? My question is once again, is that femur? Because this is a forelimb top bone. Forelimb I make. Why not I make forelimb? This is a forelimb. Okay, look here. I will make forelimb and then hinge joint. This is a hinge joint, and this is the ball and socket joint. This is moving in three directions. This is the ball and socket joint. This is a hinge joint in which you are moving in upward and the downward direction. This bone is not femur. I am just confusing you so that you came to right bone, because you was discussing this bone so many times in the classroom. You may be telling to yourself, sir is telling us wrong. The correct bone name is humerus, and sir is checking us that we will speak right bone or wrong bone. Of course I am checking you. Humerus, Humerus. I will write here Humerus. So humerus. So this is the bone, humerus, and these are two bones here. One is the radius and one is the ulna. One is the ulna. One is the radius, one is the ulna. So this is a four-limb structure. This joint is a shoulder joint. Shoulder joint is a ball and socket joint because it can rotate in a circular format. This is a hinge joint. Composition of the hinge joint, you know. Yes, this joint, which is a hinge joint, is also called synovial joint. It is also called synovial joint, synovial, synovial joint. Why it is called synovial joint? Reason is that because these two bones, which is a humerus, I am teaching you which bones? Forelimb bones. I am teaching you forelimb bones. I am discussing the forelimb bones. The forelimb bone, your hands, Understand? Your hands are attached with the limb, those are forelimbs. Your legs are hind limbs. Okay, forelimbs I am talking about. This is the bone which is a humerus. I was talking femur some minutes back. So what is the meaning of that? I was just telling you that the femur is right or wrong. I was just guessing femur is right or wrong. That was wrong, of course, because you were studying in 10th class. Femur is the bone of hind limb, and the humerus is the bone of the forelimb. So this is the humerus, capital H I will say. This is the radius, radius. This is the ulna, ulna. This is a joint between them. This joint is called as synovial joint. Sir, you was talking about this as a hinge joint. Sir, you was talking about this as a hinge joint, hinge, hinge joint. Just minutes back you was talking this is a hinge joint. Now you are telling synovial joint. Of course this is a hinge joint, but this is a type of hinge joint, synovial joint. You are getting me? Hinge joint type is a synovial joint. Why it is called the synovial joint? Because it consists of a membrane. It consists of a membrane. This joint consists of a membrane. The property of the joint is that it must have a space. This is a humerus, this is a radius, this is a ulna. It must have a space. So it have a space. Are you watching this space? Yes, this is a space, and this space which must be surrounded by a membrane. So why there is a space between the bones during the joints? Because when you want to move the bones, there must be flexibility and there must be space also. Otherwise your bones will be broken down. If you will touch these bones and you will move, the bones will be broken down. You must have a space because you want flexibility, you want a locomotion, you just want to move up and downward in a hinge joint. So how you will manage this joint? You will manage, nature managed this joint by leaving a space, and space will be left here. This space will be left here, the space will be left, and this space which is left, Shazib, this space will be left. Shazib, do ablution, we are going to offer prayer. So what will happen? What will happen, dear student? This gap, Muhammad Shazib, did you listen? This gap is called synovial membrane. Synovial cavity. This is called a synovial cavity. Okay. Now I will tell you, this is a synovial cavity, and the membrane surrounding this synovial cavity is called as synovial membrane. Synovial. Synovial membrane. Okay, I will tell you once again. This is a humerus. I am drawing diagram again and again. You got the clear concept. Look here, these are two bones. These